for us. But before I started that, I thought I would give one of my favorite illustrations ever, because I want to talk tonight about what our value is. We think about Christmas and we think about Jesus coming on our behalf. He loved us so much that he came because we were so valuable. So I'm holding in my hand here a $100 bill. It's a nice, fresh, crisp one. My mommy gave it to me for Christmas. I went over and saw her. She gave it to me, so she'd be glad to see that I used it as an illustration. And I first heard this illustration from someone who went and did it in a prison yard. He walked out. He was going to talk to people the gospel, and most of the prisoners weren't too really interested in hearing it, but he stood up and he started off by saying, "I got a $100 bill. Anybody want it?" He had their attention in a big hurry, right? So he started talking about the value of a $100 bill, right? As a government, we've put onto this thing, it's worth $100. It's on the face of it. So he said, we all have a certain worth. So he took the $100 bill and he crumpled it up really small like this, all crinkled up. Then he opened it back up and said, anybody still want that $100 bill? Well, as far as they're concerned, right? It's still worth $100. It's been crumpled up or whatever. So they took it, threw it down on the ground in the dirt, rubbed dirt all over it, picked it up again. Anybody want the $100? Right? Of course, they're all, yeah. Has the value changed yet? They spit on it, rubbed spit all over it, right?
That's attaboy.
Right? He said, anybody still want the 100? Of course, the value hasn't changed. You can wipe it off.
Don't do it.
So they tore a portion of it off, right? Now we know well enough that portion is still worth $100. And he said this, God put a value on you. The value was his own son, Jesus Christ. He came and died, was born for you, died. It doesn't matter in life who's crumpled you up and thrown you on the ground. It doesn't matter who's stomped all over you, how dirty you are. It doesn't matter who spit on you and mocked you or said you were nothing. It doesn't matter who even ripped a portion off of you that'll never be back again. Right? Still, the value is there. And in every one of our journeys, this is true in our relationship with God. Our value never changes, no matter how much of a mess has come upon our journey. Or even if a part of our lives has been so destroyed that we'll never ever get it back. We're going to go through life with 3/4 of the bill. The value still hasn't changed. He loved you, he loved me, he loved every other person so much that he set a value. It wasn't $100, it was Jesus. That's how valuable you are. No matter what anybody else says, no matter what anybody else does, God sees you with that same value, which of course means that you and I have to see ourselves with that same value, right? Because this $100 bill could go around saying, "Oh, I'm not worth 100. I'm really not worth 100. I am not worth 100." Somebody will say, "Well, I'll take you. I'll use it for 100. You may not think it's worth 100, but I'll use it for the 100." We can't go around in our journey saying, "Oh, I'm not really worth that much." Oh, that guy over there, he's worth more, right? Some other $100 bill is worth more than me because it's clean and it hasn't been all beat up and circulated. No other person has any more value, and I can't devalue myself. This $100 bill, you can't sit down and cross out the zeros on the 100 and turn it into a 1. Can't do it. If you take it into the bank, it's still worth 100. Even though you've done everything in your power to try and make it worth less value, it's still worth that. No matter what you or I have done in our journey, God still sets the value of our life as Jesus Christ, with one who came and died for you and me. He said that's how valuable you are. And when we think about Christmas, it's important for us to keep remembering that's the price, a little baby that's come on our behalf, because he loves us so deeply. We can't devalue ourselves. We can't beat ourselves down into something that's not worth something. And we can't do it to other people. Now, we may try, right? We may, bury this thing so deep in the dirt it's barely even hardly able to see that it's worth 100. Once you clean it up a little bit, you'll see it's worth that 100. Every one of us has that value. So I thought with that illustration, which in my view is one of the best ones I've ever heard, just stole it from somebody else.
Oh, yeah.